on that load shedding to come. The power utility Eskom hosting a web-based media conference this afternoon as the nation's anger continues to grow over electricity supplies. We're now into our second week of stage 4 load shedding. 4 o'clock, so 59 minutes or so from now, we expect that Eskom briefing to start. We do expect that some of the heavy hitters, the senior people at Eskom, will of course be there, including Andre de Ruyter. One of the conversations that we've seen in the last 24 hours sparked by the Black Business Council is whether Andre de Ruyter and the board of Eskom should be fired. The Black Business Council says they should. Business Unity South Africa says that won't solve anything. SACI, the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also suggesting that in fact that wouldn't solve our problems. One person who's been watching all of this, gauging the economic impact as well, Kopano Gumbi, our business reporter, she joins us. Now, Kopano, good afternoon to you. I mean, this is one of those crucial press conferences for Eskom. Everyone who's got electricity will be watching.
Absolutely, and I think it's the start of many of them to come, to be honest. If we go by how load shedding has gotten only worse in the last few days and certainly in the last few weeks, it's more than likely that Eskom are going to have these constant media briefings where they give us a sense of the state of the system, essentially, because we are in quite a bad situation.
I mean, at one point, nearly 50% or over 50% of our available capacity, in other words, of our generating capacity, was not working properly. I mean, it can't really get much worse than that.
In fact, it's more than 50%. If you look at the numbers, for South Africa to run efficiently and effectively at full capacity, our demands are around 40,000 megawatts of power. At any given point, Eskom can only generate around 25,000 megawatts, which is less than half when they don't include some of the emergency reserves that they have to with the diesel and the open cylinder gas turbines. So really, when you look at the situation with Eskom, there are less units in operation that are fully functional than they have that are working.
This is having a huge impact on the economy. I mean, I've seen figures. I think Mike Schuster suggested 325,000 jobs this year alone because of load shedding. When we have stage 4 for this long, the Restaurant Association very upset. I mean, look, Kopano, everyone's upset.
No, absolutely. Everybody's upset. And it's very difficult right now because we're still in the thick of it to genuinely calculate the full extent of load shedding. We've had various figures ranging from somewhere to 8 billion. It's costing the economy 8 billion in load shedding to, more conservative figures in the hundreds of millions. But every day as you go through it, with 7.5 hours of load shedding, or really is at this point rolling blackouts, it is extremely detrimental on your economy. You can't operate industries like that. You can't have a steel mill or a mine operating at full capacity when you have 8 of your workable hours, your productive hours, being out of commission.
In the middle of all of this, there's a political fight, and Eskom has been the center of many political fights. I mean, I remember the political fight over Jacob Moroka back in 2008, 13 years ago. He was the CEO of Eskom. There were calls for him to step aside. Eventually, he was pushed out. Very complicated. We're seeing this again now under de Ruyter, calls from the Black Business Council. But some people coming to his defense. The Black Business Council's Twitter timeline was very interesting to look at this morning. How do you assess what's going on there?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I understand people's frustrations around Eskom and not having power. But the truth of the matter is, in the state that Eskom currently is in, their real problem is the maintenance rollout plan. That is what they are struggling to do and execute the most. Whether it be Andre de Ruyter at the helm or anybody else, they're going to face the same problem. There is a serious, significant problem with how they have maintained power stations leading up to this point, and now going forward, where they find the money to continue to maintain these power stations, because it is extraordinarily expensive and it is a long process. The process is the process. It can take anywhere up to 24 months to decommission or to bring a unit down and to get it back online. And that doesn't change. Even if we had all the money in the world, unfortunately, that process is the process.
Politics is the politics. It doesn't change the physics. There's no political solution to a physics problem. In the middle of all of this, I've seen pressure, I think, beginning to build on the Energy Minister, Gwede Mantashe. I mean, as Carol Payton from Business Day put it so clearly on this program a few weeks ago, he's the only person in the country who can actually give people permission with the authority to allow more generating capacity. And I mean, from the stage 6 load shedding we had 2 years ago, we don't have any more generating capacity really since then, depending on how you look at these things. I mean, there's clearly a very slow process. Car power ships, you've been reporting on that. That's stuck in the courts, could be stuck there, run aground forever. I mean, all of this is moving so slowly.
Absolutely. And renewable energies are being looked at as the solution to at least reduce some of our levels of load shedding. But it would not eliminate the rolling blackouts and load shedding altogether. Unfortunately, the number of IPPs that we have currently would not be able to provide this extra 20,000 megawatts of power that Eskom needs to keep the lights on consistently. And so the bid windows are moving along quite swiftly, which is excellent, but they also face a very significant challenge. Firstly, Jan Abohoza told us that it would take anywhere up to 18 months to get them onto the grid. So yes, it's a very excellent solution in the meantime, but it still takes time to get them onto the grid. And then once we have all of the renewable energy plants up and running, the grid does not have the capacity to hold all of the power that they would be putting into it. So you face another challenge, that even once we've created the power, to get it into households, to get it through the Eskom systems, is going to be a challenge as well.
Kopano Gumbi, no one in the business department's brought us any good news for quite some time. You'll be watching 4 o'clock. We expect that to start. Kopano Gumbi, thanks very much indeed. All right, so 4 o'clock, we expect that press conference. I think that Andre de Ruyter is going to be one of the people speaking from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Well,